The evening sun flitted through the tall window of the king's residence, painting the walls in golden hues. The young step echoed softly as he made his way down the hall. His father's study door loomed ahead, heavy and dark, and with each step his heart seemed to turn louder against his. He paused at the door, taking in a slow breath before knocking. Father, come in. The voice carried the same weight it always did, commanding, steady, leaving no space for hesitation. Then paused the door open and stepped inside. His father sat behind the desk, his posture straight, eyes scanning paper before lifting to meet his son. Father said. Tahan obeyed quietly, lowering himself into the chairs opposite that the silent street only broken by the faint ticking of the lock on the wall. Finally, his father leaned back. Father, you are old enough now to understand certain responsibilities. Tehang stayed still, waiting. He had learned long ago not to interpret. Father, you know about the Gions? About what their family has done to us? Tehang's finger closed lightly in his. He had grown up hearing and piece of the rivalry, whispering of betrayal of old wounds that had never healed. But they were just a story of him piecing off a puzzle he had never asked to solve. Father, John Jungkook, dear son, he is your age. I want you to get close to him. Be his friend if you can. The voice leaned heavy, then blinked and answered. If he had heard correctly, then you want me to spy on him? Father, call it operation. Information is power, Tehun, and you can get close to him in a way others cannot. Tehun, but why me? There must be someone else. His father's eyes hardened. Father, do you doubt your own abilities, or are you questioning me? The family sitting posture called in Tehang chat. He lowered his gaze. Tehang, no, father. Father, good. Then I trust you. You will. The conversation ended as it always did, final and unquestionable. Tehang walked out of the study with his father's words ego in his mind. That night, he lay awake staring at the ceiling. His room felt suffocating, the shadows pressing in. The thought of the pretending to befriend someone, to dig into their life for information, left a bitter taste in his mouth. He had never even spoke to Jungkook before, except maybe a glance in passing. How was he supposed to pull this off? But when the uncertainty was something else, a flicker of curiosity. Who was John Jungkook really, and what would happen once Taehyung stepped into this world? The next afternoon, Taehyung found himself standing outside the town library. His palms were damp, his nerves alive. He had heard Jungkook visit often, thought he was not sure if luck would be on his side today. Pushing open the glass door, he stepped inside. The familiar scent of papers and quiet greeted him, and there by the last window at the rear, he was leaning slightly over the book, the late sunlight falling against his dark hair, His expression calm but focused, his chest tightened. Unexpectedly, he forced himself to move, grabbing a random book off a shelf and walking closer. His palm was clumsy at best, but he had to start somewhere. As he neared Jungkook's table, he let the book slip from his hand, and the soft thumb drawing attention. Jungkook looking up. Are you okay? Taehyung bending down quickly. Yeah, sorry. Uh, just clumsy. Jungkook gave a small chuckle. The corner of his lips lifting. Jungkook happens to be to the best for us. Taehyung hesitated, then gestured to the empty seat. Taehyung, mind if I sit here? The other spots are full. Jungkook studied him briefly, his eyes sharp but not unkind. After a beat, he nodded. Jungkook, go ahead. Taehyung sat down trying to act casual, thought his heart was drawing against his. He opened his book upside down. He realized too late and quickly. He could feel Jungkook's gaze flicker towards him before turning to his down face. The silence stretches Taehyung's mind raced for something else, anything. But before he could speak, Jungkook's voice broke thought. Jungkook, what are you reading? Taehyung blinked down at the cover, realizing he hadn't even checked. Poetry, he cleared his throat. Taehyung, poetry. Do you like poetry? Jungkook leaned back slightly, his expression thoughtful. Jungkook, sometimes the right lines they stay with you longer than anything else. The unexpected deep catch Taehyung off guard. Taehyung, yeah, I get that. For the first time, the silence between them didn't feel awkward. Over the next few days, Taehyung found himself seeking out the library again. Sometimes Jungkook was already there, sometimes he arrived later, but gradually sitting together became less strange. Their conversations were simple at first, about books, about music, about the weather, but slowly they began to peel back layers. One afternoon, they ended up at the small park near the library, sitting side by side on a wooden bench. The air was warm, circle buzzing softly in the background. Taehyung, do you always read that much? Jungkook smiled faintly. It's quite peaceful. Book doesn't judge you. Taehyung titled his head. Taehyung, so you didn't like people? Jungkook eyes flickered to him, then away. Jungkook, I like people. It just take me a while to trust them. The words pressed against Taehyung's chest harder than he expected, a reminder of the lie he carried. Taehyung, that makes sense. Trust isn't easy. Jungkook curious, do you find it easy? Taehyung throat tightened. He forced a small shake of his head. Taehyung, no, not at all. Their eyes linger, a quiet conversation speaking between them before Taehyung quickly looking away. The day is slipping into weeks. What started as a text began to feel like something else internally. Tahan glanced small things about Jungkook. The way he hummed softly when lost in thought, the way his eyes lit up when he spoke about music, the way he noticed tiny details others overlooked, and Jungkook in return began asking about Taehyung, about his favorite color, his dreams, the song he kept replaying. Taehyung answered curiosity at first, afraid of revolving too much, but slowly he found himself opening up in a way he hadn't expected. One evening, they lingered after the library closed, walking down the quiet road under the glow of a street light. Their footsteps echoed softly. Jungkook, I'm glad I met you. I don't usually talk this much to people. The honesty in his voice made Taehyung chest edge. Taehyung softly, I'm glad too. But inside, guilt glowed deeper. Each word, each smile from Jungkook was a reminder of the life between them. His father request loomed like a shadow, but Taehyung found himself caring less about information and more about the walking beside him. When they reached the corner where their paths split, Jungkook hesitated. Jungkook, see you tomorrow. Taehyung solo then nodded. Hmm. Taehyung, yeah, tomorrow. As Jungkook walked away, Taehyung stayed under the street light, watching his figure disappear into the night. His heart felt both heavy and light at once. For the first time, Taehyung admitted to himself this wasn't just a task anymore. He was falling, and he didn't know how to stop. The streetlight glow from the night before still lingered in Tehan's memory as he walked on the quiet road the next afternoon. Jungkook echo inside him. I'm glad I met you. He had replied that sentence in his head so many times that even now his chest tightened when he thought of it. He hadn't known someone's honesty could feel so heavy or so precious. As he reached the library, Tehan solo, half nervous and half eager, thought the glass window he spotted Jungkook already inside. He sat at their usual table, a notebook open, pen tapping lightly as if he were lost in thought. Then pushed the door open, the bell above giving a faint chime. Jungkook looking up almost immediately, his face softened the moment their eyes met. Jungkook, you are late? Taehyung smiled sheepishly. Sorry, my morning ran longer than I thought. Jungkook pretending to son. I was starting to think you ditched me. Jungkook, Taehyung, sorry, never. The words slipped out too easily, too sincere, and Taehyung quickly looked away. As he slid into the seat across from Jungkook, what are you working on? Jungkook closed his notebook halfway, like he wasn't sure if he should show it. Jungkook just released a word sometimes. Tehang eyes little up. Tehang lyrics for music. Jungkook nodded. Yeah, it's nothing big, just thought I can't say out loud. It's easier to put them into song. Tehang, can I hear one? Jungkook pen slid his gaze flickered to Tehang, scratching as thought. Wait if he could trust him. After a pause, he slid the notebook across the table. Tehang read carefully. The words were raw, talking about loneliness, about wanting to belong, about finding one person who felt like home. His chest tightened as he reached the last line. If only someone could stay. When he looked up, Jungkook's expression was almost shy. Tehang softly, this is beautiful. Jungkook blinked. Jungkook, you didn't think it's cheesy? Tehang shaking his head. No, it feels real, like it came from your heart. A faint flush rose on Jungkook's cheeks, and he quickly took the notebook back. Jungkook, don't tell anyone, okay? Tehang smiled gently. I won't, promise. The word promise lingered heavier than intended, as that is carried more meaning than the entire of them admitted aloud. Later that afternoon, they wandered outside. The late summer air was against their skin. The park nearby was quieter today. The swing empty leaves rustled softly in birds. Jungkook kicked ahead as they walked. Jungkook, why do you come here so often? To the library. I mean, Taehyung hesitated. His father's commanded flash in his mind, but he forced a casual smile. Taehyung, I like the quiet too, and maybe I wanted to see if you are be here. Jungkook glanced at him, wondering slightly before darting away. Jungkook, you don't even know me that well. I'm trying to. The honesty of words surprised even Taehyung. Jungkook stayed silent for a moment, then gave a small smile that tugged at Taehyung's chest. They ended up on the swings, gently rocking back and forth. Their chins cracked softly with hum of hum. What do you dream of, Jungkook? Like if nothing held you back? Jungkook tattled his head back, eyes taking and finding uh, clouds. Jungkook, music. I want to make music people can feel. Sometimes that make them less lonely. They hum quietly. I think you are right again. Jungkook swing low. He turned, look at Taehyung, his expression unraveled. Jungkook, why do you say things like that? Taehyung blinking. Like what? Jungkook, like you believing in me. The question sank into Taehyung's chest like a weight. He opened his mouth, then closed it again, struggling to find the right words. Finally, he whispered, "Taehyung, because I do for a long time." Jungkook looked at him as though tried to read every lore of his expression. The silence stretched, not awkward but with something neither of them dare more. Their name. As they passed, their routine became something unspoken but natural. Taehyung no longer needed an excuse to sit with Jungkook. His presence was expected, even welcome. They studied side by side, share coffee from the corner cafe, and sometimes just walk without talking. The quiet between them comfortable. But with each passing day, Taehyung quietly grew heavier. His father occasionally asked, "What have you learned?" Taehyung, nothing important, just school, music, normal things. His father depend each time. But Taehyung couldn't bring himself to betray Jungkook's trust. He was not even sure when the line blurred, but the thought of hurting Jungkook felt uncomfortable now. One evening, as they sat at the library table, Jungkook tapped his pen before glancing up. "Jungkook, why do you always listen so carefully? Most people just wait of their turn to talk." Taehyung smiled faintly. "Maybe what you say matter to me." Jungkook, his gaze softening. "Jungkook, you confuse me, you know." Taehyung, "Confuse you? How?" Jungkook, "I'm not used to someone staying. Most people don't." The quiet confession tugged at Taehyung's heart so strongly he had to look down at his hand. "Taehyung, then I'll stay." The words slipped out before he could stop them. He meant them, every symbol, even thought. He knew how the way against the truth he was hearing. The turning point came one late evening. They had wandered further than usual in the gap on a hill. They sat side by side on the grass, their shoulders pressing lightly. "Jungkook, when I was young, I used to think stars could hear me." They talked to them like they were friends. Taehyung softly, "Taehyung, did they answer?" Jungkook, "Not in a word. But somehow I felt less alone." Taehyung tilted his head, watching him in dim light. There was a Jungkook tones that made his chest ache. "Maybe they sent me instead." Jungkook turned to him, seated, and for a moment their eyes locked. The closeness made Taehyung breathe. Neither of them moved. Caught in the quiet gravity pulled them together. But Jungkook broke it first, looking away with a small laugh. "Jungkook, you say things like that too easily." Taehyung smiled faintly. Only when I mean them." The air between them shifted, not at love, not at confession, but something an understandable growing eyes. As Taehyung lay in bed, he stared at the ceiling again. Only this time he wasn't his father commanding weight of him. It was Jungkook's voice, Jungkook's smile, Jungkook's trust. And deep inside, he knew the truth was a storm waiting to break. But for now, in this fleeting moment, he allowed himself to feel it, the warmth, the closeness, the quick speak of something he couldn't name but couldn't stop. He didn't know what tomorrow would bring. He only knew one thing of certain. He was no longer just pretending. The morning light slipped thought the house curtains soft and golden, but he felt anything but light. He had barely slept. Jungkook's smile still lingered in his mind, as did the promise he had whispered the night before. Then I'll stay, but the warmth of that memory was his sharp staring of guilty. Every word he spoke to Jungkook carried a shadow of the truth he hadn't told. He could almost hear his father's voice again, get close to him, earn his trust. And he had too well. When Tehung reached the library that afternoon, Jungkook was already there, as always, a notebook open in front of him. But instead of waiting, he was staring out the window, his jaw set, his expression unraveled. Tehung slid into the chair across from him. Tehung, oh, you look serious. Jungkook blinked as thought pulled from his thought. He gave a faint smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. Jungkook, just thinking. Tehung, about what? Tehung hesitated, tapping his pen against his notebook. Jungkook, about people, about trust. The words hit Tehung harder than they should have. He focused a small laugh. Tehung, that's heavy for an afternoon. Jungkook, maybe, but it's matter. His gaze was steady, almost searching, and Tehung had to look away. His thought tightened, then uneasy air lingered the day. Even when they walked to park later, Jungkook seemed quieter than usual. Finally, as they sat on the swing, Jungkook broke the silence. Jungkook, Tehung, can I ask you something? Tehung, of course, you can. Jungkook, why did you talk to me that first day? Ready? The question frozen Tehung in place. His mind raced back to library, to the clumsy excuse of dropping a book. His heart, Tehung, I just wanted to. Jungkook swings slow. His eyes were sharp now, watching Tehung carefully. Jungkook, you are hiding something. The words were not Tehung. Tehung, Jungkook, don't. If it's something I'm not supposed to know, just say it. But don't lie to me. The in his voice broke Tehung's heart. He wanted to tell him everything, to tear down the wall of silence, but fear the words inside him. Tehung, it's not what you think. A promise. Jungkook's expression softened slightly, but the uneasy didn't vanish. Jungkook, then prove it. Just don't disappear on me. The following week was filled with a strange tension. Their laughter still came, their conversation still came. Tehung found himself waiting in a notebook late at night, tried to untangle his feeling, how much he wanted to protect Jungkook, how much he losing him, how much he hated the lie he had started with. And then one evening, everything cracked. They were walking home from the cafe when Jungkook suddenly stopped. He reached into his bag and pulled out a folded piece of paper. Jungkook, I was not going to say anything, but I found this. Then frozen as Jungkook handed him the paper. It was a note, his father's handwriting, sharp and commanding. Report back on Jungkook detailed plan. Taehyung's stomach dropped. Taehyung quickly, what does your father want? Information about me? The night air felt suffocating. Taehyung's mouth open, but no words came. Jungkook's eyes were steady, but behind them was hurt. Jungkook, I didn't mean for this to happen, Jungkook. So it was true. Taehyung swallowed her, focusing the words out. At first, yes, my father told me to get close to you, to find out about you. But Jungkook cutting in. So everything all this time was just an act. His voice was not loud, but it deeper than sudden every could. Taehyung stepped forward desperately. Taehyung, no, it's stopped being an act as long time ago. I didn't know you then, but now it's real. Every moment, every word, every smile, it was real, Jungkook. I swear. Jungkook's hand clenched at his sides. Jungkook, do you even know what it feels like to let someone in, to trust them, only to find out they were lying from the start? Tongue was breaking. I know. I didn't deserve your forgiveness. But please, Jungkook, believe me. I never wanted to hurt you. The silence that followed was unbearable. Jungkook eyes, but he blinked it away, turning sharply. Jungkook, I need time. And then he walked away, leaving Taehyung standing alone under the street light, the words crashing around him. The day that followed felt endless. Taehyung went to the library, to the park, to the cafe, but Jungkook never came. His absence was louder than any noise, and Taehyung felt the emptiness at him. He tried writing later apologies that he never sent, words that felt too small for the wounds he has killed. One evening, unable to bear it any longer, he walked. Taehyung, please, Jungkook, please, just listen me once. If you never want to see me again after this, I understand, but I need you to know. Jungkook didn't speak, but he didn't close the door neither. Taehyung took a shaky breath. Taehyung, yes, I started this because of my father. I thought it was just an order I had to follow. But the more I know you, the less I care about him, about rivalry, about everything. I only care about you. You changed me, Jungkook. You made me want to stay, not because of duty, but because I love you. The confession hung in the air. rock and trembling. Jungkook eyes widen, his breath catching. Jungkook, you what? Taehyung voice firm now. I love you. Not the kind that fade, not the kind that was ever fake. The real kind, the kind that scare me because it means losing your hurts more than anything else. For a long moment, Jungkook just stared at him, the silence stretching them, his shoulders, his expression breaking. Jungkook, I wanted to hate you. I tried to, but but I couldn't. I couldn't stop remembering everything we shared, and I hate myself for missing you. Taehyung had hope blooming painfully in his chest. Then don't hate me. Please, just once. Please, just give me another chance. Let me prove to you that what we have to real. Jungkook eyes softened, glazing again, but this time he didn't look away. Slowly, almost hesitantly, he stopped it closer. Jungkook, if I forgive you, you can't ever lie to me again. Taehyung nodded quickly. Never, I swear. No more lies. For a moment they stood there, breathing in the quiet night, and then finally Jungkook closed the space between them. His lips met. They hung in a gentle trembling, not perfect, not practiced, but real. So real it made Taehyung's heart ache with relief. When they pulled back, Jungkook's forehead rested against his. Jungkook whispering, Don't, don't make me regret this. Then smiled, tears, I won't, not ever. The day after they were different. Later they still met at library, still lingered at the park, but now there was no pretense, no shadow, no light. Jungkook let himself smile more freely, and Taehyung let himself breathe again. One evening they returned to a hilltop where they had sat under the trees and stared. The grass rustled softly as they lay side by side, shoulder brushing. Jungkook, do you still think the stars send people? Taehyung turning to him. I think they sent to me, to you. Jungkook laughed softly, shaking his head. Jungkook, you and your words. Taehyung smiled only when I mean them. Jungkook had found his then finger intervaled naturally. Jungkook, then say no more things. Taehyung, what? Jungkook say, you all stay. Then squeezes his hand gently. His voice steady. Taehyung, I'll stay always. The stars above them. Quite witness to a promise. No rivalry, no lies could break anymore. And in that moment, both of them know, against all odds, they had chosen each other.